entrepreneurship during football season.
And you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast, where, you know, it's me and my only friends, which does not include Nikki Limo.
It doesn't include.
He booed you.
Get fucked. Seriously, right off the bat.
Damn.
In my Instagram story, I was
God
completely
damn.
right. I promoted the show by saying I'm about to get berated in 15 minutes live if you want to come watch, and I left the link up.
Why would you ever say that?
What?
Why would you ever say that?
I immediately got berated immediately.
Immediately.
How's your
Also,
toe feeling?
why is there like a cuck in the corner of the screen just fucking watching the show?
No, they're not seeing that.
Oh, they're not seeing that?
No.
Okay.
You're berating him 15 minutes into the stream. There he is.
Well, I gotta get one in, you know? I just gotta get my punches.
This is just the cycle of bullying. He bullied you, and now you bullied him.
It
What's
looks like
poppin',
watching
Berkey? How you feeling
himself.
today?
I don't know what's going on here, man.
Let me just catch you up. Conrad said that Nikki is not our friend, and she called you a cock.
Definitely what
Better than
happened.
sports ball. All right, go ahead.
So sports, guys.
Is this good for the retention?
It's gotta be.
Talking about cucks right off the bat, 100%. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, I thought this show was boring. I was gonna tune in before."
Now I'm interested.
Now I'm into it.
Yeah.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? How we doing, Nikki?
I'm doing great. I don't know what time is anymore. I feel like very just abstract about existence, but yeah, I think that's common.
All right.
Probably good.
Seems like you've been doing some things, been out there playing poker in the streets, making some content.
Getting feedback.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be at a meetup game in Kentucky. It's a ladies' event.
You said a what?
In Kentucky.
In where?
Social Barrel. In Kentucky.
In Kentucky?
Yeah, an hour outside of Nashville.
Yo, you want to hear something crazy that just happened in Kentucky?
What?
A lawyer went back into the judge's chambers. Actually, I'm sorry, it was a sheriff.
Insane.
And shot the judge.
Yeah.
How crazy is
Who
that?
shot the sheriff?
Nobody.
I shot the sheriff.
He put his hands up.
I didn't shoot the
said, "I'm done."
deputy.
But anyway, you go to Triple Barrel in Kentucky. What's going on there?
Yeah, we're doing there's a ladies event happening on the 26th. That's like a week from yesterday. The 26th is a Thursday. And then, when I bust eventually, it probably happen, I'll play some cash games.
All right.
They have cash games. They have all kinds of stuff going on.
I heard they had some free Diet Coke there.
Probably.
I heard Alan Kessler was going to show up. There was
Fuck
a possibility.
Yeah.
I heard they got some good bourbon. Are you going to go on the
poker
bourbon
carrying?
trail?
No.
Are you going to go on the bourbon trail? Do you like bourbon?
I didn't know about it, but it sounds
Interesting.
titillating. I am interested.
Has
It's like,
anybody
it's
ever-
like where all the distilleries are. There's like a whole tour that you can go on. You just go to all like Maker's Mark and Jim Beam and all like the bourbon distilleries.
Has anybody ever been to Kentucky here?
No.
I have not.
Burke?
Farrah Gelfon's from Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah.
Little known fact. Yeah.
Did not
If you checked her Wikipedia,
no.
you'd know.
No, I've never been to Kentucky. They do call the middle of Pennsylvania Pennsyltucky, which is basically the same thing as far as I'm concerned. So according to the Connie Dixon line, Kentucky actually lies within Pennsylvania.
That sounds accurate.
That actually makes a lot of
I
sense.
feel like I just fly over all those states.
They're going to
All
get
the
canceled
same.
again. Here we
Why you do that
go.
to our Midwestern viewers, Nick?
Our three
listen,
viewers in Iowa are going to be pissed.
I like all the Midwest states that are closer to Canada, like the, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. Basically everyone in my division. Go Pack Go. But yeah, those lower ones. Ugh. Cold. It's nothing to do. Good.
Nothing
You're
good.
going there, right?
I am. For poker, that's the only thing to do over there. So if
I'm
you're in that
saying
area, freaking get over
you're meant to
there or get
promote
wrecked.
this- Right, you're meant to promote this new
Yeah.
room. I believe this is Matt Vaughn's room. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Shout out
I think
to
I'm
Matt
doing a
Vaughn.
good job. It's the only thing going on in that area. So if you're not doing that, I don't know what you're doing with your life. That's
Probably
pretty good.
drinking
I
bourbon.
think that's a good promotion.
That was good.
Thank
Valid.
you. That's solid. Thank you. You're
Honestly,
welcome.
I think you've been on point with your promotions recently.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
really do. There was one video, and I was like, "That's my friend."
Yes.
That was like, "That's my friend."
The truth comes out.
Yes.
Let's just take a look at watch.
9. No wrong way to play you. Oh no, but maybe. What am I supposed to do with these? Do I 3-bet this? Definitely gonna 3-bet this. Jacking off. Grow up. Do I 3-bet this? Oh, definitely gonna 3-bet this. Definitely gonna 3-bet this. Ooh. Definitely gonna 3-bet this. Ooh, I'm gonna get into trouble with these. About to get real naughty. I knew you were.
I
We just saw Frozen Screen Guapo. Is that what they saw?
Unfortunately, I
what's
can't control
happening,
the internet.
but
I apologize.
It is echoing in my ears so bad. I'm hearing like 4 versions of this video play right now.
I mean, all of those things could have been said with Jax, so it didn't really need to show the video.
It's true.
That's
That is
true.
true.
Well, anyway,
Well, go
on
to my Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go on over to Nikki's Instagram, check it out. It's hilarious
Sick
video.
promotion.
We're really good at this.
Yeah, we're so good at promoting
As a
things.
team, yeah.
We were absolutely
Everybody hire
nailing
us.
How
it.
did you
Yeah.
manage to pull off such a good OP?
Oh, OP,
Oppenheimer.
yeah. Well, I am an actor, a thespian, if you will, and I studied the
thespian.
cover of Card Player magazine quite intently, and then I channeled him through my being.
The real question was, where did you get the patch from?
I'm sponsored by Full Tilt. I didn't want to say it. But
Oh, we got a professional now.
I drew that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
It did.
Like you
I
drew
had
it and
no
then you cut
idea.
it out with
Yeah,
scissors.
yeah, and
like
then I taped it.
what? Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ask Mormon if he had one?
Props. I didn't. No, I should have.
You might have had one laying around.
That's funny.
He definitely has the I knocked a Pro Adam full tilt.
Probably.
Like the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody has that plate on it.
Shit. I should have asked. I didn't even
What?
think about that.
You have yours still?
My full tilt.
I knocked out a Pro.
Oh yeah, I probably have like a box of them somewhere
Do you really?
for sure.
I
Somewhere.
want one.
Yeah,
I
I'll
want one.
go through like some of like my old clothes and see See, unless I just gave him all goodwill, that could
You might
possibly be the case as well.
I really want to see Landon wearing your shirt.
I might.
He's gonna walk around looking like it with belly shirt.
I gotta have that
sticking out
track
and shit.
jacket, that like quarter or zip up track
Quarter
jacket.
zip.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised we haven't seen Berkey in any of these since we know he has never thrown out a piece of clothing.
No, that's not true. I got rid of all. I hate everything poker attire related, and I'm gifted more poker shit than I think any human alive. LaManna was so into it when we first started playing.
My
He
first
had
shirt.
those shirts.
Oh, I loved it. I had the the why work when you could play poker shirt. You know, like
Yeah.
that guy that was like on all the. It was like the memes before the memes, right? They were like those posters and, but yeah, definitely boomer.
Did you own a pair of Blue Shark optics?
Blue. I don't know what that
Do you
is.
remember this, Matt? Do you remember this?
That was more recent.
No, they were
Yeah, it
recent.
was-
Those are like no, those are recent. I know about these.
I would say
They're
like
not
15
recent,
years ago
but
they
it was
started.
Jonathan Little's. It was Jonathan Little's sunglass company.
That's his.
Yeah.
But yeah, LaManna owned the entire. He owned every Walmart version of a poker shirt. He had the "I'm with the ladies" and it was 2 queens on the front.
Wait, what? No, I never owned a shirt like that.
I think you should own a shirt like
Thrown
that.
under the bus.
Some version of it. Ladies love me. I don't know.
Brandon Garrity, he had the
Ladies love me.
It was like a picture of chips and they were small and it said like, I may have a short stack but I'm all in.
All these little
Or I may
corny,
be short stacked but I'm all in. Yeah.
all these corny
I
shirts.
love
They're
those
so
guys
great.
at my table.
Yeah.
The sick thing is that was 21 years ago, 20 some odd years ago or whatever.
Don't.
And it was stupid then, but at least poker was new enough where it made some sense. I
Stupid
still
now.
get pitched on these fucking t-shirt ideas to this day. Somebody will just like send me a link and be like, yo, you want me to send you some merch? I just started this new t-shirt brand. It's I love the ladies and it's all pocket queen shit. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
I mean, if you go to any poker room, you still see a lot of people wearing like these ironic shirts with like,
Yeah.
poker related topics
These are
on
the
it.
people
It's
that
not like they're
Nikki
not popular.
stress
People
tested.
still wear them.
Exactly.
These are
Yeah.
the people that watch the show.
This is the general public.
There are
you know,
people.
when you're
No,
like, how did
don't
these
you
content
insult
creators?
our audience like that?
We're not insulting.
I said the general public.
I would say at least 5% of them has a poker shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
need a poll.
Somebody in the audience is like looking down at their shirt
Well,
right
now
now,
they're
like
not
with a
gonna
sad
admit
face.
it. Exactly.
we need to make a poll. We have to have a poll. Like, do you own one of these like poker shirts?
Yeah.
Like a corny
I'm on
joke poker
If
shirts.
it's anonymous, maybe they'll be
I'm
truthful.
Yeah.
really sad I can't find it right now, but Brian Rast has a shirt that he's worn on Triton when he's commentating with like these humongous queens on them. It's very.
Oh, I know what
very
you're
entertaining.
talking about.
Humongous queens.
There's a better chance that I would wear a Skibbity Ohio Toilet Riz shirt than there is that I would wear anything with the Ace of Spades on it or Queens or anything of
Yeah,
that
but
sort.
because you're too cool though.
I
Like
know,
the
yeah.
general public likes to feel like they're part of like they play poker and they're part
like
of
a
like
culture.
Yeah,
The
exactly. They're
subculture,
part of a
yeah.
culture. Like you don't get it, Berkey.
I had a shirt that it was just like it was all black, and then it was just like the upside down king, like the head, and it was actually a cool shirt. I like that shirt. It didn't have any writing or
Welcome
anything
to our
on it. It
viewing
was just
audience.
that graphic, and it was
Our
nice.
viewing audience is in studio with us today.
I'm gonna dig that up and wear it on Monday.
You'll find it.
I think the closest I have to that is just a Rampage sweatshirt that's like folding is boring.
That's
Yeah.
new school.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not,
I like
this stuff
Rampage
is good.
It's just
Yeah.
merch.
I
I
like it
only
a
have
lot.
like poker
Me too.
people merch for poker stuff.
Like the Rampage Luckbox merch
Yeah.
is good merch.
I like that,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good
really.
merch.
The
you know?
sweatshirt's
But that's
nice.
not the ironic.
It's not
kind.
ironic.
But
It's
this
like
folding is boring one is kind of borderline, right?
what we got here? There's Brian LaManna.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that picture. Look at that. That one looks like it's you today. Right there.
Which one?
Right, the one under.
That might be. That's a recent picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
looks
sure.
very recent.
Why are you so mad?
I mean,
That's how I
It's his
play.
poker
I
face.
intimidate my
yeah,
opponent
you're like
with that
super
face.
intimidating there. Like I'd fold.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. Like, then you're to chop me up and put me in a
fold
trunk.
because you wouldn't fold because he's staring at you. You fold because he has it.
The problem is I never bluff. Yeah, so it's just like.
It's like, you sure you want to put that money in there, champ?
Oh Jesus!
You
This
sure you want to
guy's
call that term
Sad
bet?
boy tortoise face.
doesn't break eye
Sad boy
contact.
tortoise face right there.
Face equity, baby.
Yeah.
The only problem
Just
is
hand
they're
equity.
doing the opposite of what you want them to do.
You have to give him the
Stop
puppy dog
scaring
eyes.
them.
Yeah,
No
you,
wonder
you,
I never win.
you have to plead them into the call.
You gotta smile at them, you know. Give them a little bit of loving.
Give him the tortoise riz.
Give them the tortoise raise. You know what I mean? Give them a little smile and a wink or
wink,
something.
maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean? Get
Hit him with I could have the blocker. No, the fuck you don't.
All right, since we're talking about a little bit of poker,
Oh God.
let's jump in the muck.
Oh, no.
My.
Oh yeah,
Fuck you guys.
Early muck.
Already?
Yeah, early muck.
we are in the muck.
Early muck.
This
We're in the
show's in the
muck.
fucking muck.
We're in the muck.
Put it in the middle.
All right, well, I'm not the one in the muck.
I'm not in the muck either.
But my friend over here that loves to stub her toe early in the morning, she is in the muck.
Professional toe stubber.
Okay.
Professional toe stubber.
Listen, I don't personally feel like I'm in the muck, but I feel like it's a good discussion of like live, when you're playing live, taking in all of the available information and how that impacts decisions more so than like just studying alone, you know, because everyone you could do drills, you can do all that stuff. When you're in the situation and you're live, there's so many different variables, especially if you've worked with certain, or if you've played with certain people before and all that stuff. So, I will tell you that I was playing a 3-5 game at Red Rock. Why is your hand up?
Oh, I was just waiting for you. I thought you said, if you think I'm in the muck for this hand history, put your hand up.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put it down.
Put it
Go
the
on.
fuck down. I played perfectly. Also, can you guys act like you don't know the end of this so that the audience can follow along and like, you know, make their own judgments as
Lucky
they're
for you,
as they're
I don't know
going?
the end of this.
Okay, perfect. Landon, that's perfect. Okay. So I'm playing 3-5 at the Red Rock. And there's a couple different characters playing. Now, if you've ever played at the Red Rock 3-5 game, especially, it's like the same people every single time. So I played with most of these people for like 3 years. And,
Real blood game.
And they are, hey, I don't want to say too much about them, but like, you know, they have certain distinctive play styles. Okay.
They're tight.
No, I mean like they're each different, but like, you know, there's like
Special in their own way.
You can make some decisions if it's very marginal and you're like leaning one way or the other. You can kind of like tip it one way or another
Right.
based off of what you know, and that's why I think is so interesting about this
Transparent,
hand
maybe
history.
transparent is the word. They kind of play
Yeah,
like
they kind of have played the same way for like as long as I've known them,
Right.
and I've never really seen a switch up. So
Okay.
like I can kind of make a discernible read from
Gotcha.
that information. Okay. So we're at 3-5 at the Red Rock. Everybody is basically 300 big blinds plus deep, except for one girl who is a reg. She normally plays 5-10. She wasn't even planning on playing that day.
Is that you?
No. That's not me. She sometimes plays 10-20. Like she's good. She's a good reg, but she was drunk off her ass, and she came in to the poker room, and she wasn't planning on playing. She was just at Red Rock having drinks, winning at Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and then we like peer pressured her into playing. Okay, so she's been playing for a while. For like, this is now like 2 hours into her playing, and she's been like a blast. Like, I love her. She's one of my favorite people ever. She's knocking people's chip stacks over. She's like berating people at the table. It's great.
She is awesome.
Thank
confirmed.
you. Conrad knows, everyone that knows her loves her. She's great. And she's V-pipping about 90%. Okay, so it's nearing towards where she wants to go home. We're like around midnight, right? And she has she started with 1,500 and now she's down to like 425. And at our end of the table, she's in the 1 seat. There's a 3 seat and then I'm in the 4 seat. We're kind of like all alone on this island, and then they're having their own conversations on the other end. She tells us privately, like, I think I'm just gonna go all in on my next best hand. And so the other end of the table doesn't know that. That's very important to the story, I think. So she's like, I'm ready to go. She has her stack. She's like, ready to fucking put it in. Okay. So in this hand, under the gun opens to 15. We're playing 3-5. And he's been the only unknown person at this table. He's not a reg. This is the first time I've ever seen him here. I think he's a tournament player by the way that he's been playing the entire time. So he's been like aggressive, but still has it sometimes, right? And he knows basic ranges. Okay, under the gun open, 15. Under the gun 1 is the tightest player at the table by far. He 3-bets to 65, and he doesn't 3-bet lightly, especially versus an early position open. So that's important. I feel like that's important too. And like this guy, it's like premiums only. It's like tens plus, maybe tens is the like the worst.
Ace queen suited plus,
is like
like
the worst hand, like ace queen suited plus, maybe ace jack suited, maybe depending. And he had just sat down like an hour before, so we've all been playing, and he just sat down. So he doesn't. I don't think he really knows how this guy has been playing. Which makes me more certain that he's like using his like premium ranges for the 3-bet. And I don't think he heard that the girl said that she was gonna go all in blind, or not blind, but like on the Nerk's best hand. So anyway, he 3-bets, and then she goes all in, and she's excited, and she like shows the 3C I'm excited. Okay. And then I wake up. She's in the hijack, and then she's in the hijack. Yeah, hijack. And I'm in the small blind, and I wake up with ace king offsuit. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do here? So I was already planning on cold 4-betting to 250, because against the guy that 3-bet, if he 5-bet jams, like I know that he's way stronger than me and I'm out. Like it's an easy fold, like slam dunk fold. So I was already gonna 4-bet to 250, but she is now all in for 425. So I feel like I didn't want to reshove and then just put all the money in the middle against this really, really, really tight player that just 3-bet and showed strength, because a lot of the times he's just snapping off with queens plus, and I feel like an idiot for like reshoving. So I'd rather, 4-bet and then fold to a 5-bet shove. But now I can't, because she took that option away from me. So I felt like cold calling, which you shouldn't do. I get it, but the circumstances were weird. I felt like flatting here is kind of like me 4-betting, because I'm displaying a lot of strength, just cold calling a shove from the small blind. Okay, so I call 425, so almost 100 big blinds, and I don't just put a fucking 100 big blinds in there willy-nilly. Like, I don't. They know that.
You respect it. They respect you.
Yeah, like my image is pretty good. Like at showdowns, I've shown some bluffs, but like I'm just saying, like I'm not just willy-nilly like throwing it in there, so it should show some pretty good strength. Anyway, the fucking under the gun reshoves for 200 more big blinds. So he's all in. He covers me. I have so I had 1,600 to start with. So now I have like 1175, or is that good math?
Yep.
Okay, 1175 behind. All right. And so 300 is my hand worth 300 big blinds after all of that action with all this, the characters that have been involved? So then,
El Tortuga has spoken.
So yeah, because so the under the gun one tank folds, and I'm thinking, like the best, the hands that he's gonna fold there, because he's like basically 3-bet calling like a lot of his range. The best, like it's all gonna be ace-x. Like he's not folding queens. He's maybe folding tens, maybe folding jacks. But
you don't think he'd fold queens? You said he's super, super tight.
Yeah, I don't think he'd fold queens.
After it went all in, call, reshove, and he's sitting there with queens.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he might be folding queens.
I think he's folding queens.
Maybe.
After what you're describing, and then it just goes raise.
Yeah, okay. Well, TBD. I don't know, but like, so queens maybe.
He's only in for 60. He's probably just like, fuck. I guess these are maybe no good. Probably.
Yeah. Queen. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. But most of what he's gonna fold is ace-x suited, like some ace king, ace queen, maybe an ace jack, right? And so I figure
tens and jacks.
He already has some of my outs. If I'm up against 2 pocket pairs, or like even just like a live, like other live suited Broadway hands, I'm not suited. Like I feel like suited, it makes the decision a little bit easier. But I feel like he has like a lot of the cards that I want to see come out in order to scoop this pot.
You said you're not in the muck?
Brian, you're so much prettier when you are quiet.
From the top rope.
Jesus Christ, why did I come back here?
I just want to make sure when you told your your Instagram followers that you were going to get B-rated, I wanted to make sure that came true. I didn't want you to lie to them. I didn't want you to lie to them.
I appreciate that.
Back to the hand.
Okay, so I tank, and then the girl's like, show me what you have, and the guy's like, show me what you have, and I'm like, am I allowed to? Yeah, I'm allowed to do that. So I show them like what I have before. I'm like, what would you fucking do, guys? But they're not allowed to comment,
No.
and I know that. But yeah, and then I think about it. I'm trying to get reads off of his reaction to it too, just because like this guy's the only unknown. Like if it was Under the Gun one that reshoved, I'd immediately fold. But it's this guy. He's a wild card. I have no idea. So I eventually, because of like me feeling like a lot of my outs are gone, blah, 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 I fold. Under the Gun flips over pocket eights. The drunk friend, Reg, turns over pocket nines. And the flop comes ace, deuce, five, rainbow. Because of course it does.
None of that shit matters. None of the board matters.
It-
We're here to talk
yeah.
about we're here to talk about
That's
some
what I mean.
pre-flop
Like, let's
decisions
not be
here.
results oriented
No,
here.
we're not. We get rid of the board. We don't need any board here.
So then so I feel like shit, and then the Under the Gun plus one says he folded ace king suited. So then I feel better about my decision, knowing that I was like right in my process of thinking that he probably has, and I didn't know he had even more of my outs because he has my exact hand but suited.
At what point in this hand do you think there could have been a mistake made?
The 4-bet call.
The 4-bet call?
Calling her hand.
Oh,
instead
calling
of,
the 4-bet.
Instead of
Calling, yeah.
reshoving or folding.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's marginal between I almost considered a fold, even though I shouldn't consider a fold. I
think folding is better than calling and then folding.
If the Under the Gun one wasn't in there, it's an instant reshove.
Mm-hmm.
Landon is having a conniption right now after you
I'm
said
not
that.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
I'd like to hear from Landon.
But just jam pre.
Yeah, I don't think it's marginal at all.
if the Under the Gun one wasn't in the hand, I would have jammed pre.
We don't care about Under the Gun one.
But
Well,
the thing
I do
is,
because he only has like queens plus usually.
So here's the thing: is like he just opened. He just raised.
No,
Yeah.
he three
Right,
bet.
whatever, sure, but
He three
like
bet Under the Gun open.
sure, but like
That means
Jenny's
something.
drunk.
I know.
Sorry, oops. This person is, she's a reg. She's gonna play a
She's
little
good.
loose, and she says she's
not
going
sticking
home.
in it with nothing.
Yeah.
No, of course, but
Not
you
gonna be
also,
like 6-3
but
offsuit.
think about the hands that you have dominated that she has.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I would have done that. Under the Gun one complicates everything because I would have reshoved if he wasn't in
If
the
you
hand.
think about the three betters range, I mean, like you did say that he would three bet like tens and maybe even ace jack, which obviously ace jack you don't want to fold, but it doesn't matter. Ace jack is going to fold anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like if you get him to fold tens, jacks, and sometimes queens, that's a really good situation to have happen.
Yeah.
And then also he might have ace king and fold it, which is also another good situation to happen, which he did fold ace king.
Yeah.
Obviously after
That would be-
more action, but like I don't know what he would have done if you would have just shoved. But I assume the eights would definitely have folded, and then the ace king might have folded, and now you're really
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
And you block aces and
Reverse
kings.
engineering it. I'm
Right, you
like,
block aces and
yeah.
kings, so it's less likely that he has those hands that are crushing you.
I'm
Yeah,
curious to talk about it from the other side of it now as played. When we're looking at it from the decision of do we call off here?
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Before you get into that.
You can add as many more things
I've
as
done a lot of. Okay, I've done a lot of drills in this situation with 200 big blinds plus. You're supposed to fold out of position, ace king offsuit, to a 4-bet. But I know she's drunk, so it's like it's different.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you know?
definitely different,
So, but like
right.
that's also in my head is that like you're supposed to fold to a 4-bet shove or a or even just a 4-bet out of position. But I had to consider those circumstances. So that's like in my brain too. Like if we run this GT, the wizard would probably fold.
The wizard would not be
When the
drunk.
wizard be all right.
Exactly. That's what complicates
The
everything.
wizard-
So I think it's a fun discussion.
Hold on.
It's not a pure fold.
Right.
Even in theory optimal land where Under the Gun is very tight, Under the Gun 1 is very tight, and Ginny's range is very tight, you still would jam ace king off like
With 300 big
some
blinds?
amount of the time. Yeah, of course.
You
There's a
with
lot
ace
of
king
money out
offsuit.
there.
Can we run in
Yes.
the sim?
Yeah, I don't think you can run this.
run it?
You
I
can't
don't
run
think you can run
pre-flop,
this.
but
You can run.
Give me
you
3
can't run
months
for
so I can
drunk.
get back
You
to you with
can't
the
no
big
luck
money
for
ante.
drunkenness, but you can put
I mean,
hold 4-bets
you
in
could
there,
just
can't
pull
you?
up. You could just pull up a 200 big blind sim, but like, yeah, it's just gonna put it in with ace king at some frequency, and it's gonna put it in with ace king suited like most often, always.
Yeah, ace king
Like,
suited.
It's just
Yeah.
Why do you think the suited versus offsuit matters?
Because you can at least make a flush.
You can make 2
It's
flushes.
3%. It's only 3%.
But that's a lot.
When called,
like when you're looking for
it's
marginal
not.
edges. It's not? You don't think 2%?
It is. No, it is if it's very, very close. But in this situation, it's not close.
You don't. Well,
so like
that made me more apt to fold.
The thing is that the way the ranges construct, the suitedness only matters in the sense of when you're called, you'll acquire a little bit more pot share, but that's not why Ace King is jamming.
I see.
Ace King is jamming
to fold.
protect. Yeah, it's to protect
To
your
isolate.
other hands.
We're not really
Well, it's
trying
just-
to be all in, but if it happens, it happens.
Okay.
You're and it effectively serves as bottom of range. Like you're not going to 5-bet jam jacks. You know what I mean? So you have to have something that complements like queens, because if you're only jamming queens, kings, and aces, now every time you get called and you have queens, you're kind of in a bad spot because they don't block aces and kings, but ace king does.
I think
So
I might
it's
be
like jamming. Go
I
ahead.
think I might be
Go on.
oversimplifying it, but I think the easiest way to look at this is that you would think of a really nice scenario where you're in a 3-bet pot. There's already 100 big blinds in the middle, where half of those big blinds you knew were going in with any 2 cards, and you're looking at ace king. Like, I think this is just prints money. Like, I don't think this is a tough decision.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
I mean,
any
I think
two to
that's
be
like-
exact.
I don't think it
overly
prints money,
simplified.
but-
She's not jamming that wide, but
Yeah.
I agree with you. This is definitely printing money by getting it in.
What the fuck?
Whoa! What type of trippy shit is that?
Did Berkey just get absorbed
Just
into
levitate
Yeah.
the ether?
I think he just spontaneously combusted.
Well, that's
Are you with
that was
us,
my
Muck?
mental, like, just banishing him to hell.
His soul just got sucked into
Now
the
I'm the
depths
new
of
Berkey.
hell.
Look at me.
Oh my god.
Oh, you think
If
you
can
think
still
it was
hear
supposed
us,
to be a
Berk, come
fold?
back in, please.
No, I think Burke's out.
Yeah,
He's out.
He'll patch
At
back
some
in.
All
Alright,
right,
he'll
we'll
come
get,
back.
him, we'll get him back.
But
So-
do you understand what I'm saying, Nikki? Like, you're look down at ace king. It's a 3-bet pot. You know one person's getting the money.
I
in
think
light.
because I was planning to fold to a 5-bet jam from under the gun +1, it threw me off that it was actually under the gun that rejams. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do with this guy's rejam. Like, the under the gun +1, he's just got aces and kings every time. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's like you could say one thing in your head, and there's just different types of people that you're playing, and I don't know. I think
it's a miss. Like, I do this a lot too, where I'm just like, this person just always is so nutted here. They just always just have the top of the range, and it's like that's almost never the case unless it's like literally like the old man of old man coffees where they literally don't play anything. But like you said, this guy that 3-bets possibly sometimes might 3-bet ace jack suited.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then the ace king is just
Well, and I'm talking about 3-betting under the gun open. Like,
Okay.
he has a better
Right.
range. Like
Yeah.
as button. Like, I'm not
Right.
saying he's only doing that. But I'm just saying against an under the gun
Yeah.
open with all the people left to act, and
Right.
he knows a lot
But
of.
like, and then as played, I think like coming back around to call, you already have so much money invested.
know, that
You have
was
a third
the other
invested,
part.
and like if the under the gun, opener ever has queens, you just have to call. Like if he ever just has queens, and he had 8, so he has so many more hands
yeah,
besides just
if I
queen.
had seen a hand
right?
like that before.
Yeah, he might even have. If he has 8s there, he might have ace queen, and now you're just like,
I
really
think it's also like
printing.
Yeah.
it's a lot to realize. Like, we have ace king. You know, we're blocking aces and kings.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like sometimes they might have it, but we also have a beautiful situation here where this girl, is whatever, she's very competent, but she's drinking and she wants to give action. She literally said she's about to put money in.
Yeah.
So it's like what we want to do. I think our incentive is to ISO her,
Right.
Like from that.
Yeah.
And then like we move on from there.
Yeah,
we
like
put
getting 8s to fold is great.
So the thing is, you're putting other people in bad positions now.
Yeah.
Because like he's not this 3-betting aces and kings when it comes down to it. Look, he had ace king this hand.
Yeah.
And he might even not have had ace king. He might have had ace queen, ace jack. Who knows? He might have just talking shit.
Oh no, he showed someone.
Okay. But like regardless, like he's gonna 3-bet a lot of hands like 10s, jacks, queens. Like it's all these hands that it's like, all right, whatever, let's just run this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
So I was having this
Season help.
discussion.
Wait,
sorry.
what the hell?
I banished him.
Hold on.
He's in the sauna.
Sad boy sauna.
How did you make it to hell? Oh, there we go.
The sauna stream
Oh,
is
he's back to heaven.
The sauna stream is back. Okay, sorry.
Where's the crying the image?
Okay, so I was actually having this discussion with another friend today, and I think it's really relevant. She's playing in a pool that I don't really know how to describe it, but basically, like, it skews a certain way in that your strategies have to change, right? And the reason I bring this up is because this is a very common thing that happens live. We tend to put a lot of stock in our ability to read the pool tendencies, to know players within the pool and what their archetype is, as well as what their tendencies are. That's why you're able to so confidently say Under the Gun 1 here has a premium type of hand. You don't know anything about the Under the Gun opener, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
So we were talking, and my friend, I think that she's like just incredibly good and dialed into this kind of stuff. But the issue becomes that it's a very slippery slope whenever that becomes your sole guiding light in making strategic decisions. And she was kind of expressing to me how frustrated she is that she keeps making these monumental mistakes. And she gave me an example of one, and it was just like not a mistake at all. It was theoretically sound. Everything about it was fine. But she's like, well, in this pool, like, this is just losing money, yada, yada. And when we scaled back and looked at it, I was like, you're putting yourself in a position where you're abandoning like sound theory so much to dive into these exploits that you are forcing yourself to be clairvoyant, not just when you make the exploitative decision, but every single decision point thereafter. And the problem becomes that you could have a high degree of confidence in the initial exploit and be absolutely correct and be printing money in that specific decision. But if you don't carry that clairvoyance through to the next decision point and the one thereafter, they claw back a lot of that EV and put you to decisions where now you can't even rely on theory to make the proper adjustment because you've abandoned it too early prior to this, right? And this is what's happening here. There was such an emphasis on the Under the Gun 1 player.
Yes.
That we forewent the obvious decision to 5-bet jam, right? We committed a third of our stack. We put in 100 big blinds with ace king. And, it's easy to say like, okay, well, I would do this with aces and kings as a trap as well. It's like, okay, fine. But like, should you? There's already 140 big blinds in the middle, right? Like what are we trapping? How do we ever and don't get me wrong, like, it would have worked in this instance. Somehow pocket eights finds way to just put in 300
like maybe
big blinds,
aces specifically
So
do it. With kings, you need more protection.
that was what I said in the chat. I was like, I would just jam range here.
Yeah,
because I don't want to look down at 2 10s and fold. That seems crazy. I just want to apply max pressure with my entire continuing range, and all I'm concerned about is Ginny. Or the person.
Mystery Rag. Mystery Rag.
Mystery Rag. So much. She's amazing, and I'm happy that she won. She actually she scooped that because of my mistake and the Under the Gun fucking donk
Ginny,
jam.
But my point is like, the only thing I'm concerned about is the 100 big blind jam range, and I just want to put it in with hands that I think are ahead of that range, because now each range behind me has to consider the fact that I just put in 300 big blinds.
Right,
exactly.
So what you're saying about his initial 3-bet range is actually true of your 5-bet jam range. And it's probably not necessarily true of his 3-bet range. He's going to be wider. He's going to have ace jack. He's going to have 10s. And he has so many of those hands that have to fold, right? And the same thing now with the Under the Gun opener. All he did was open. He has, 18% of hands or whatever. He's going to be able to call off none.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Just feels bad when you just
Yeah.
feels bad when you just are shown kings and queens and aces. And
Of course.
You're emotionally in the muck.
I know, yeah. So emotionally, I am in the muck.
Well, that, for what it's worth, since we're on
your
Sad Boy
feelings are
Sauna
validated and
anniversary-
it's safe here.
Wait, what, Berkey?
Since we're on Sad Boy Sauna anniversary, this is basically the anniversary of In the Muck as well, and that was the driving narrative
of In the Muck, right?
Yeah.
And you're not here. We're singing Lewis for you. Bad Boy Summer.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know either.
Nobody ever knows.
It's the 1 year anniversary of Berkey being sad in a sauna.
but the in the Muck initially, like, yeah, it's kind of turned into a hand review, but initially it was like, what are the things about live poker that just basically have us in the muck, have us questioning everything. It's like, this doesn't end. My friend that I'm talking about, she's battling, stakes as high as like 100, 200. So like, this is a common practice. Live pools always trend towards some sort of major imbalance, and the best players in the game are figuring out what those imbalances are, and they're capitalizing on them. The issue is that a lot of people are just, I don't even want to use the term lazy, because that's not the right way. They're too logical almost in the way that they capitalize on these mistakes. They think that like it's a linear progression where it's like, if mistake A happens and I take advantage of it by doing the inverse, then that's where it all ends. And it's not. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from your spot, Nikki, that jumped out at me, and it's something that like I don't suffer from, but it's something that is difficult for me to relate with other people because I'm very risk on. Mm-hmm. But most people who play poker don't do it to gamble. Outside of the recreationals, and most of them have a loss rate, or at least they don't acknowledge that they're doing it to gamble. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's impossible to play this game well, specifically, without having some level of gamble. And I brought up the stand-up game to you. I said, the first time you play perpetual stand-up, you're going to hate it.
Well, see, I would stick it in immediately with the stand-up game.
But that's the thing.
But she's playing a stand-up game by herself.
Right. She was trying to get everyone to play stand-up game earlier.
But because she's drunkenly putting money in, that basically represents the bounty of stand-up in essence. And what I was really trying to illuminate with that analogy is just that there are certain things that can happen within the dynamic of a game that make it obvious to people that gambling is a part of it. Right. And for the people who are more risk off, that like to convince themselves that they never gamble in a well-structured strategy, something like a drunk person jamming 100 big blinds kind of puts them on their ass, because now all of a sudden they don't know what to do with a top 3% hand. And I'm not saying that as a slight, like you didn't know what to do. Obviously you knew you had to put money in the middle, and you did. But I'm more so saying it as it generates this level of uncomfortableness, because you have to accept and acknowledge the fact that there is a level of gamble and a lack of control in any one given spot, right? It's like jamming 300 big blinds with ace king here sucks when you run into better, or even when you lose a flip for 600 big blind pot. But who cares? It's making money on the margins, and that's really all we're trying to do.
Okay, well, it helps to know that you guys think that ace king offsuit is making money on the margins, because that's where I felt it wasn't.
It's not really a margin in this spot. In like a vacuum, it is not making money at all. Like 200 big ones deep, low jack open, hijack 3-bet, cut off cold 4, ace king off fold, small blind. I
or mixes, right?
No, it's fold.
Just a fold.
Yeah, ace king suited does go for cold 5 because it's a good hand, and the cutoff is not supposed to play 6-bet jam. Yeah. So you get to like have more equity when you get called. Ace king suited, good hand. But mystery reg, who we have no idea who it is at this point, has much wider than that, and we're just ISOing to attack that versus worry about if someone has kings or aces.
And we just don't worry.
If they have kings or aces, like God bless, like we put in more money and we try again, and that's life.
Yeah.
And it feels like when you're playing and you think that like people like are not always, but a lot more times they're way wider than you think they are. Like we have this misconception in our head. Like I played a hand at the 1-3 game where it was like a guy open, I call it with like king 10 of clubs, and it comes queen high all clubs. So I flop the second nuts.
And we're terrified.
Right. Yeah, we're terrified. Well, this guy's been playing super tight the whole time, not really mixing up, not doing anything, right? And then so they check, I bet, small, they call, turn is a brick, they lead now, I raise, and they just jam all in. It just feels like, I'm like, this is like the nuts. Like they just have the nuts. Like, oh my God, this guy hasn't played a hand. He's putting any chips in. Now he's just like 3-bet jamming the turn. He just has the nuts, right? But I'm like, I have the second nuts. I'm not folding because of this situation where like you have to be so precise and so confident to ever make that fold. And I'm like, I just called, obviously, and he has 2 red aces, and he's drawing dead.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, where it's just a situation where you think like this guy can only have the nuts. He's literally drawing dead. So like you just don't like. It's just you have to be so confident to make these exploitative folds, and most of the time your judgment is going to be off. Like most people, not you, but everybody.
And like the amount of times that
Right.
something like that has happened kind of goes out of your memory bank because it feels good because you won the hand, but the times that feel bad when you lose and they do have the nuts are the ones that like stick with you more.
Right.
So it's like, oh man, like they always have the nuts.
They
Like forgetting about the times when you jammed on them and they folded, or they had red aces somehow in this like kind of nonsense hand.
Right.
Like
but pre-flop, you don't take into consideration if you played with someone for 3 years and they've never shown you anything different. If like with a 5-bet jam,
you're not really
like
worried about that
4-bet
guy.
jam.
You're worried about the 100 big blinds of dead money.
Right.
Yeah.
And just living with the result.
All right.
Because you might even be getting the direct odds considering how much dead money's already in there. Like, let's say he has kings. He showed you kings and you're looking at ace king. I don't know what the math was, but even if that's the situation, considering how much money's already in the middle, you might be getting the direct odds to just call.
Yeah, I mean, if he has like queens plus an ace king, and sometimes he folds the queens and the ace king, you're just making money. Yeah.
Also, you've kind of put yourself in this really brutal spot where once you put in 100 big blinds and then they go all in.
That part.
So like instead of having that part, we can remove that part, just being all in.
Right.
And if he has it, like, all right.
Yeah.
That's no limit, baby.
Yeah. That's the part where I'm like, I should have just fucking reshoved over.
You shit the bed, Nikki.
I know. Hey.
It's fine. We almost play
I'm
hands.
not in the muck.
Now you're out in the muck.
Now that we've come full circle, are we in the muck?
No. Thanks for getting me out of the muck that I was never in.
There you go.
Our retention levels are through the roof right now. So
Are they?
What I do know is hand histories are it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Because, okay, people in the audience right now that are live in the hey, chat. Hey, chat. We're talking me and you.
Connie, get ready to make a poll, please.
Like when you are listening to a poker podcast, you're like, I'm going to tune into this poker podcast. Do you like it better when they talk about poker or when they talk about sports or old stories from Pittsburgh or like, just in general, like a poker podcast. And that's not to say we don't like talking about sports or Pittsburgh stories, but just like maybe like the majority or maybe like in the beginning, maybe we just talk about poker and then we ease our way into like we lube it up a little to talk about the sports and
Pittsburgh talk.
And like, people already like to listen. We're like, I'm already here. Might as well listen to the sports too. Like, but when you start with this, I don't know. This is just a theory I have. Wild theory.
It's funny you should mention that because it just so happens that 50 minutes into this show, we happen to be here on a Friday getting ready to tell the world what our weekend warrior picks are.
All right, let's go. We're all lubed up.
Let's go! Going around the horn, we're going to start with the 2 in the chairs. What's poppin', Brian and Landy? What you got for me, Brian?
Oh, man. It's time.
What do you got?
It's time.
What do you got?
It's time for a Steelers offensive breakout.
Stop it.
Okay.
Specifically around the man, George Pickens.
All right. What do you think? What
We got over 44 and a half. Higher 44 and a half yards receiving.
Who's going to be throwing him the ball?
Justin Fields, baby.
Oh,
you see those accurate throws he's been making lately?
Yeah, all for a yard and a half.
No. They've been driving the ball. They've been throwing the ball down the field. And this is the time. The Chargers are, they like to give up a lot of receiving yards. A lot of their secondaries is not that great. So let's see what we got here.
All right, Landon, what you working with this week?
I guess it's allowed, right? We allowed it.
What?
Lower.
Oh, if it went through, yeah, you're fine.
I mean, it seems like it would go through.
Berkey put it through last week, so.
Okay. We went for, unfortunately, the Finns and Tua have an issue at the moment. So I can't necessarily bet on them to win as I'm not that confident.
You're against them now.
I'm not against them either.
You're betting them to not score very many points.
I'm betting on them to not score that many points.
That's against them.
What's your bet?
No, I'm not against them. I'm betting on them to just Chill.
All right, so Landon's going Miami Dolphins under 17.5 and parlay
Lower.
with the lower of 41 on the game.
Yeah, I think that the Seahawks and the Finns will not score very much.
I think you know nothing, but we'll talk about that in a second.
You want lower,
Guapo,
lower.
speak to me, baby. What are we doing?
I went double lower.
You got some freaky shit going on, too.
No MMA this week.
You on your Diddy
So
shit
we're just
right now.
going-
Look at
yeah.
you.
So we just went with boxing. Jaime Munguia coming off a loss from Canelo.
Nah, you didn't just say his name like that. What was it?
Jaime Munguia.
That's his name?
That's his name.
How'd you say it perfectly?
I don't know. I got lucky.
Okay.
And I'm going with Anthony Joshua as well as a parlay. Also, for any sharps out there, if you want to bet parlays, I highly suggest going on to Pinnacle because something ain't right.
Well, we don't know if it goes through. Like, they could just, like, kick you back to whatchamacallit. So, basically, Guapo had put this into Pinnacle, and it was giving him, like, 2-to-1 odds, basically, when it's supposed to be minus 297, which it clearly says right here. So, we will be correcting that. You're not getting no fucking wham bangle.
To be fair,
No
can you
wham
please let everybody
bangle.
know that
No
I
wham
messaged you?
bangles.
I messaged
You
you
did.
first. And
No,
said,
don't worry.
Hey,
Don't worry. You're getting
All
a $39 profit if you win. Or 29 or whatever the hell that's supposed to be. And let me tell you why Landon knows absolutely nothing. Because your boy Conrad, actually, he might win. Dolphins are winning. Dolphins cover in this game. I think Dolphins getting 4.5 points against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are not they're not healthy. Metcalf is questionable. Their running back Walker hasn't practiced yet this week.
Charbonnet's good though.
Charbonnet's fine, whatever. But
Geno Smith is good.
yeah, that's fine.
Is he?
Who else?
Tyler Lockett's good.
He's on the injury report. He's also questionable.
He's fine. He's gonna play.
They're
So
always
is
on the injury
Jackson
report,
Smith and
bro.
Jigba.
That's fine. That's fine. We can leave them there. They're not a good team. I'm not really worried about them.
How about JSN?
Yeah, he's good.
Who had a breakout? I'm just trying to debunk your.
I'm not worried about it. Listen, no Tua, no problem. I have no issues with this. I think Skylar Thompson comes in and he does a
how many
serviceable
points do they score?
job. 19.
How did they get 19,
Higher.
but the Steelers can't score anything?
Steelers are going to
because
score
they-
35 points this week.
Well, hold on. You have Tyreek. So the thing about the Dolphins that I see their game plan going to be, very short passes, running the ball. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, they just complement that. So as long as Thompson can throw 5-yard passes, I think the Dolphins get the W out
The
there.
Bills ravaged them.
Huh?
The Bills ravaged
Bills are
them.
good.
Yeah. Bills are very good, and Tua sucks.
What?
Well, the problem is the game plan with Tua. I think the game plan that they have with Thompson is going to be very basic. Very quick, out of his hands, whatever. Move on.
As a Steeler fan who's watched George Pickens be caged for the last 2 seasons while small hands Kenny Pickett couldn't get him the ball downfield, I have to tell you that having Skylar Thompson throw dump off passes to fucking the cheetah is not it.
All right, I'll see you. We'll talk about it Monday.
It's like keeping a Lambo in the garage, man.
I kept the Tesla at the house.
This guy vertical. Well,
Yeah, don't
now
worry.
it's a fucking brick.
He
What do you
does
got,
that
Berk?
himself. He creates his opportunities, man.
All right. So I am obviously going Steelers here. I believe it or not, I actually won't pick the Steelers to win every week, but their
I don't believe
schedule
you.
is very favorable out of the gates. I might take them with the points here and there, but they're laying 1 to the Chargers in their home opener. I feel very strongly that San Diego doesn't travel all that well cross country, though they have done well in openers thus far this year. They're coming into the Berg. The steel curtain's going to lay the hammer down. Chargers are an offensive team. I don't think it's going to be high scoring, so I went ahead and parlayed this with the actual under. I think was 38, which I didn't have a lot of confidence in.
Lower.
So correct.
Oh, yeah,
so
you super
I went
juiced
ahead. Yeah, I went for that alternative line where I laid 300 or 331, I guess. But I'm getting 1.5 to 1 on the parlay. So unlike Conrad, I'm not a big gambler. He's just throwing 500 balls out every fucking week.
I like it, Berk, because I still like the under, even though the Steelers are going to score 35 points, because the Chargers aren't going to score 0. So
All right. Well, 2 after my own heart put their picks in as well.
okay, the Sharps.
The Sharps are here. And we have, starting off with Hanks. Hanks is going with I believe it's the Tennessee Titans playing the Packers. -3.
Going after your team.
Go Pack, go.
Go Pack,
What do you think
go.
about that, Nick?
I don't know. I haven't really been doing a lot of research this year.
Not much of an investor this year.
No. I've been trying not to lose 100 big blinds. But I'm number 1 in my fantasy league right now. Woo! Yeah, hell yeah. Most points for as well.
If you had jammed that ace king, you could have bought a bigger piece of the Packers.
It's true. Very good point.
It's true.
Could have been a bigger investor.
Could have tripled my investment.
Could have tripled your package.
Yeah.
So
now I know. I'm out of the muck now.
Green Bay lost the quarterback. He's out.
Shut up.
He's got Malik.
You lost a quarterback.
I like Malik Willis. He played very good last week. He did exactly what I hope Skylar Thompson does this week.
Ugh.
But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. It seems like Will Levis and they're not bad.
Brent took Titans.
Yeah, he took the Titans -3.
-3.
They're not bad.
I interviewed Will Levis
They're
at the Celebrity Poker Tournament.
Did you?
Oh, yeah? How was that?
He didn't want to talk about football. Because no one does.
And we got our boy Jeff Platt coming in with another college pick. He is taking the under on 61 in the Southern Mississippi Jacksonville State game. None of us know anything about this, so we're just going to move on. He's betting 357 to win 300.
Kelly Criterion be damned.
Who knows?
Sounds
Who knows? But our boy Hunt's back in the mix. Did we do his pick?
No.
Well,
Hunt minus 2,000.
We might have done his pick on Monday, but let's refresh the audience. We
Refresh
have
me, please, on the Matt Hunt.
Matt Hunt has Crystal Palace playing Manchester United. But my man's out there. He went the right way. He's taking Crystal Palace as a dog. It's 150 to win 258.
That's right. So minus 3,000 on the favorites and then plus 200.
A little bit like plus 160, 170 or something like that.
Someone's
but I
gonna
like
talk
this
to him.
pick. It's Manchester United does suck. So we will see.
Nikki, what's your fantasy football team's name?
It's called Taylor Swift's Boyfriend. It really is.
Yeah, I knew it would be something.
Because I reached for Kelsey in the second because I'm a fucking idiot, and he's been laying eggs like every fucking time. I have
busy laying
Alvin
pipe.
All tight ends
Kamara
really
though,
have.
so like he's been like holding the team on his back, 40 points a freaking game.
Yeah.
And I have Montgomery too. But yeah, I thought Kelsey would just be like my star, and I changed my fantasy name from Diversity Hire because I'm the only girl. I'm the only girl, and I'm the only like Filipino, like non-white person. And
You're not white?
I'm half white. Look at all these ethnic features. I'm ambiguous.
Damn, she's so ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, she's amphibious.
I was like the only, like, so they can be like, look, we're diverse. I changed it to Taylor Swift's boyfriend just for Kelsey, and he fucking sucks.
That's all right. He'll be
You
fine.
I think he's just too covered, honestly.
You changed
be
it to
fine.
TSB.
TSB?
Taylor Swift's
Sure.
boyfriend, timestamp bro.
I'm just gonna take him off my team. Put him on the fucking waivers. If he doesn't tighten up, man, give me some points.
Do not do that.
I run tight ship here on this
do not
management
put
team.
him on the way.
We're winners.
Oh, man.
Didn't get in that league for nothing.
Exactly.
It sounds like you should just trade him.
Exactly.
Just trade him away.
Trade value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
I don't
like
know.
Jordan Mason.
I almost had Andrews because I thought Kelsey
I
was.
think you can
much
trade
cheaper.
Kelsey right now. It seems
You
pretty
can't.
low on the trade. His trade value seems pretty
Listen,
low right now.
time out.
I'm buying the low right now.
If she's in first place, she can do whatever she wants with Travis Kelsey. That means
Whatever
the
I
league's
want.
not good. They're going to be like, oh, Kelsey? Is that Taylor's boyfriend? I'll take him.
It's a keeper league too. That's why like a lot of the good players were gone in the.
Yeah,
Like,
gotcha.
yeah.
Interesting. We had the Poker
That makes
Masters
it a
wrap
lot
up
more
yesterday.
reasonable.
What was that?
Go ahead. Nothing. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's
Something
please
reasonable.
move on.
Something about
Please
reasonable.
move on to anything else.
I think he was saying that I'm very reasonable. That's probably what he was saying.
No, definitely not. We had the Poker Masters wrap up yesterday, the 25K. We've seen Ben Tollerene beat TVK. Why do I feel like they're always just running deep in these, like, the main events, like the 25Ks and 50Ks? They're just always there, like, four-handed, I feel like.
Because there's only 18 runners.
Ben Tollerene. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say they're one of 18 or two of 18. You're gonna see them from time to time.
Yeah, it seems like Ben just pops out and, he just wins all the mains. I think he won the Triton, Guapo. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure he's won something.
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure he won the last Triton also for a decent bit. But yeah, TVK always in the mix. I don't know how he does it. He's just a G. Absolute G.
How
Landon,
many
did you watch
runners
any of
were
that?
there in this event? Do you know how many runners there were?
Hold on 1 second.
18.
2 tables. It's a 2-table sit and go.
I want to say it was like around 40, 50 maybe.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot. Let's see. It was
50 would make sense. It's like 2.5 million in the prize pool,
500 for
20% the first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes maybe a little bit less, 35 or 40. Chewy was at the final table too, I believe.
All right, so there was
If I'm not
68.
68.
Yep. 68, 1.7 in the prize pool.
Oh, my math. Oh, it's a 25K, not a 50.
Yeah, 25,
Yeah.
25.
Yeah,
My
Chewy
bad.
got third. Shout out
Chewy
to
did get third. He got really unfortunate, man. Chewy got the aces in against queens on King 10-9. And it just comes queen right on the turn.
Ugh.
It was a really
No jack on the river?
no jack on the river. Really upsetting for him, the man. I was like, yeah, what the
Really
fuck?
upsetting for the man. Really upsetting.
For the human.
Well, they got all the chips in on the flop, so it was just like an awkward situation.
How could that happen to that man?
Oh, it's not
Unlucky.
fun.
It's a damn shame.
In the muck.
Landon, why weren't you out there?
I was busy not being out there.
You started out there.
I started out there, and then
They sent you to the goulash?
Yeah, that's what. Yep.
They sent you to the goulash?
The goulash. They sent me to the goulash. That's where I am. I'm in the goulash.
All down
in the
bad.
muck. Yeah, down horrendous. But I think the plan will be to play more of this stuff in January.
What's in January?
Like Poker Go Cup. Stuff
Okay.
like that.
Is it like the same buy-in ranges?
Yeah. There's a bounty series actually. I think I'm gonna play a lot of in November.
You get a purple jacket?
I don't think so.
Are you playing the NAPT?
I am.
Okay.
I will be there.
Why are you so serious today?
I'm not. I'm just trying to.
Are you sleepy?
A lot of like neurodivergent questions at one time.
That makes sense.
I might be in the goulash.
You're in the goulash for sure.
I'm in the goulash.
You're in the galoshes.
I'm getting attacked.
It's raining.
The real problem is how we started with the hand history.
Yeah,
You know,
I brought the mood down.
He short-circuited.
I short-circuited it. That's true, yeah. It's fair. He actually said exactly what I said about the sim, though. Like, the ace-king off is a fold to 4-bet. But, yeah.
Yeah, but
we're not.
the sim's not drunk.
Yeah, the sim's not drunk. We didn't know block for drunkenness.
Oh no!
Oh no! What happened?
What?
I lost audio for a second. Okay,
Oh,
I hear you
no.
now.
Oh, okay, we're
Sorry.
live. We're popping.
Did you miss our voices?
I did.
Yo, but-
I got very scared. Like I was in a closet somewhere. It was terrifying.
You're not in
going
a
back to
closet
the
now.
You
Postmaster
look like
thing-
you're in a closet.
You look like you're in a closet.
I'm out of it now.
You look like you're in a ladder.
Berkey's ladder.
So this is actually I'm not sure what the name of it is, but it's used for stretching, and above it you can't see, but there's actually a pull-up bar
Where you hang
which
from
is, well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
pull-ups because I'm a
No,
strong man.
they have those in the bar class that I take. Like just like that with the ladder, and you climb it, and then you hang from it.
And you do podcasts from there?
Anyway,
Yeah.
did you do a bunch of
Yeah.
pull-ups? Yeah, you do podcasts there.
Yeah, been doing a lot of pull-ups.
I can tell.
But no, circling back to Landon wanting to play more Poker Go stuff. I've struggled with this idea for a while, and I think I finally am beginning to understand it, but in a way that doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel worse. So forever, I've kind of watched this like whole high roller scene kind of play out where it's small fields, bigger buy-in type of stuff, and you see the same people winning quite often, but you wonder to yourself, how well are they actually doing? You know, the buy-ins are pretty expensive, and the guys who go on sun runs are the ones that we remember in poker infamy, but everybody else, it's kind of just like, you know, break even affair. You run up a bunch of makeup, sometimes you get dropped, whatever. And I just wondered, like, how does one go about this, and why would you choose this path? And, you know, I got to tell you, the last week or so, I've been playing 200, 400 with 1K perpetual stand-up game. And I get it now. Wow. I completely understand. Because what's clear to me is that there are ways to structure poker such that there is not a very large edge to be gained. And the main way to do that is to ensure that the game is mostly played before the flop. So if you effectively take away 1, 2, or 3 streets of the game and you simplify it, the errors that can be made just aren't really all that large. And I'll give you an example. I was playing last night, 200, 400, 1K perpetual stand-up. So what that means is that stand-up ends when only one person is left without a button, but you can accrue more than one button, and each one is worth $1,000. If you get 5, they're all worth double. So the amount that the person who loses the stand-up game, it varies. We were playing 8-handed last night, so the minimum you would owe would be 7K, but you could owe upwards of like 20, 22,000 if you get really unlucky, kind of thing. Situation happens where I'm heads up to pay the bounty, and I jam 50 straddles. So it was 248, and the 800 was the person I was heads up against. So I jam for 50 straddles, which is 100 big blinds, and it folds to him, and the current bounty is 12K. So he has the decision to make, because if he folds, he automatically loses $12,000. Mm-hmm. So it's 41,000 effectively. He has to, since he has 800 out there, he has to call 41,000, and it's to win like 43K or something like that, but it's also to fade a 12K penalty. And I did like a rough EV calculation of this, of like where the break even equity is, and it's like 42.5%. So he needs to have roughly 42.5% versus my jamming range. And I gave myself a very liberal jam range,
which is infinite.
No, it's not.
Not
it's
infinite, I know, but
it's very similar to like what you would open on the bubble as the chip leader. It's very ace X heavy. It's high card heavy. It's high card.
What was your specific hand?
At ace 5 of spades.
Oh, that's pretty good. Easy.
That's pretty good hand.
Yeah, so I jam from the hijack. But the thing is, though, I'm jamming from the hijack, so it's like I still have to get through 4 other people that
know you're jamming late.
Correct. So he calls 8-5 off, and I was very confident that this was a big error, like a huge error. I was like,
yeah. Really? So you thought it was like a big error?
It is a big error. I mean, relatively speaking. So it's a $7,000 mistake. Doing a rough EV calculation. Basically, I gave myself a really liberal jam range, and 8-5 off only has 34.5% equity against that jam range, and it needs 42.5 in order to be breaking even, compared to just folding and losing 12K. So effectively, calling loses something in the neighborhood of $19,000, but you were going to lose 12K anyway if you just fold, so it's a net loss of 7K, which seems substantial, but it's only 8 straddles. So in the grand scheme of things, he's probably making the biggest pre-flop error that he could make, because there aren't going to be many hands that are doing worse than like 35%. Mm-hmm. I think I probably could have looked, but like if he had like 7 deuce off or 3-2 off, he might have been like 28%ish. And it might have been like a 10K mistake. But the point that I'm making is he's only going to be making somewhere between like an 8 and 12 big blind mistake in this particular instance. But later in the night, we got shorthanded and everybody was really deep. So it became a post-flop game again. And there was a situation where I opened ace queen, somebody opened, cut off. I 3-bet ace queen on the button. The big blind cold called, the original opener called. It came king, queen, 3, all spades. I've red ace, queen, checks through. Turn, red ace of hearts, checks to the original razor. He bets half pot. I call. Other guy folds. River, offsuit, queen. He bets third pot. Right. He bets third pot. I jam for 150% pot, and he calls with a naked queen. Now, that mistake was worth, I think, something in the neighborhood of like 35 or 40 big blinds.
Wow.
And I guess like that's the difference here, right? Is that the most egregious error that you can make when it's just a pre-flop game,
it's 10.
Doesn't, right? And it just like doesn't offer that much win rate because it's very specific, right? It has to be the guy who's heads up in the stand-up game jamming into the other guy who's heads up in the stand-up game, right? Because if anybody else had taken these actions, you have less onus to continue because the game just goes on, right? So you don't have to defend nearly as widely, yada, yada, yada. So only on the edges do you even see like these are edge case scenarios when you're talking about pre-flop. But post-flop against like weak poker players, they're losing dozens of big blinds in most all decisions that they make. And it allows you to have a monumental win rate as a professional. When you simplify it down to a pre-flop game, there's obviously still edge there, but it comes with like a lot of variance and the edges become a lot thinner. So in this particular lineup, if we weren't playing stand-up, I might be making like 12 to 15 big blinds per 100. But with perpetual stand-up, I might only be making like 3 to 5 big blinds per 100. And it might even be less than that. So wow. the whole reason I put this conversation out there and framed it.
Sorry. I was going to say your win rate is cut like to a third or less or quarter.
Well, it just has to be, right? Because how much edge is there in making a pre-flop decision?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's too solvable, so to speak. And there isn't a lot, like obviously people can just be bad and try to give you EV back, but you don't necessarily capture it singularly. Somebody who's playing way too widely, like if there's a fish in the game and he's opening any 2 under the gun, well, you don't just benefit from that. The whole table does, right? So if he's losing like 12 big blinds on average by opening under the gun, that's now dispersed amongst everybody who's left to act. And now your distribution is going to matter a fuck ton to your win rate. And this is going to be true of like online poker too at 100 big blind cap. Like it's why those games are so tough. They're not mostly a pre-flop game, but like pre-flop is a really big aspect of that game. When you start to look at high rollers with the fast structure, which is what made me think of bringing this up, is, you know, I kind of talked to Landon of like, what was your experience in the studio, yada, yada, yada. It's like, it was good. There was a lot of really bad players there. I think I'm winning in a lot of these situations, but the structure is so fast that it's like, if you don't win your flips or you don't win this all in or you don't win that all in, you just don't make money that day. And the problem is our lifetime is just so short. I don't know that that's the right way to earn a living in this particular space, right? Like, I just think there's way lower hanging fruit from my perspective. Even if you're looking at the tournament route where you're playing like open field events that have really good structures and a third of the field is just amateurs.
Yeah, only so many of those events exist in a year. And even then, you still have to run well to capitalize on it.
Just live 150 years. What's your problem?
And never stop playing poker.
Realize your equity.
And never stop playing poker.
Yeah,
and never give up.
And put in all the volume, more volume than Jonathan Little could ever.
Berk, are you really just trying to say you're out on all stand-up games?
No. But I think perpetual. I think perpetual is like a really hot commodity right now.
It is.
Most of the softest games are implementing it, and for the game runners, it's really smart to do that.
Yeah, because it keeps everybody
afloat, kind of.
Yeah, like it doesn't make people go broke. Do you think that the pool of the high stakes whales or whatever you have would like yeah, I'm just saying, like
they're called VIPs.
The VIPs in the game.
Do you think the optional players would...
A lot of people like it, right? Because it neutralizes the really, really good players in the game. Like it obviously it does. Like it neutralizes you because your win rate goes down dramatically.
Yeah, but I don't think that they feel that. I don't think that they know that, right? I think they enjoy
not even instinctually.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think if you're really risk averse, even as a recreational, you hate the stand-up game.
You feel like you're just going to be like left to fight last so much.
But do they think they have an edge otherwise?
I don't think they realize that.
Like they think they have a bigger edge when they play like a super deep post-flop game over you than they do it in a game where it all just gets in.
Have you ever shown up to a tournament?
I thought you were going to say, I've ever played
a tournament in the first. Have you ever
people legit think they're winning so much money at level 1?
Stop interrupting.
You guys are interrupting like crazy.
I stopped and then Landon started.
I don't know what else.
It's very hard. It's very hard when you're there because it's like a little bit of a lag. But yeah, sorry.
Have you ever been in a tournament in the first couple levels? Is that what you said?
Right. Have you ever showed up to an event to see the starting field, and do you understand like why pros are attracted to showing up that early? It's because all the recreationals want to be there for the quote unquote play. They think that Well, I don't know what they think, but they enjoy the experience of being able to be patient.
Yeah.
They enjoy the experience of being deep enough to make decisions beyond pre-flop. So it kind of cuts both ways. Like, as much as I want to play post-flop because that's where I'm making the most money, a lot of the people that are, keeping games afloat also want to play in an environment where they have to go post. But there's a whole other subset of recreationals that want to do flips every 30 minutes. They literally just want to exchange money at high volume, and they don't really care about the structure through which they do it. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of the perpetual stand-up get generated from. And as pros, we just have to, like, whatever you want, we'll accommodate. Kind of thing.
Do you think
right?
perpetual goes by the wayside when recreationals start realizing that? Well, I'm not even saying by the wayside, but like because it is a weird catch-22 where it's better for them to play perpetual stand-up games, and at the same time they don't want to go. They want to play post. So it's like, do you think that they will realize that the game is better for them and continue like pressing for it or whatever, or do you think that they'll just stay in the ways of a human, basically human ways?
Yeah, I think that it's very similar to PLO. I think the ones that enjoy PLO will be the ones that push for perpetual stand-up, and I think everybody else will force it out.
I fucking love PLO. I've been winning PLO tournaments, like strictly PLO tournaments lately. I love it.
She likes to see 3 and then go from there.
You can play Oaken Heads Up.
Huh?
You can play Oaken Heads Up.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, Brian Oaken. He's looking for heads up games all the time.
Let me just get my bankroll together for the high stakes PLO game.
Berkey might roll you.
All right, sick.
You don't need much. You'll never be all in.
Perfect.
But yeah, I think so. Like the other thing about perpetual stand-up is that this is like another aspect through which win rate is like really capped. There's just a strategic advantage to being short if you don't have a button. So when you go broke, many people just are going to often rebuy for like 50 big blinds or whatever the table minimum is. And the issue with that is that your win rate is obviously now capped at the depth of your stack. So if there are bad players at the table 300 big blinds deep and you're sitting with 50, sure, you get to execute a much more sound stand-up game strategy, but you also cost yourself the ability to play a 600 big blind pot versus somebody that is inferior to you skill-wise. And that's not even where it ends. The varying stacks among the table force a tournament-like dynamic, right? So if there are 8 players in the game and half of them have 50 big blinds and half of them have 300 big blinds and they're just randomly dispersed among the table, you don't get to play the same strategies as you would if there were 6 people at the table with 300 big blinds and 2 people short stacking. So for all of these reasons, I think the dynamics eventually will push away from perpetual. I think that at first it looks very attractive to recreationals to see all in, all in, all in, all in, all in. But then when they have to start following suit and they realize that they're all in 9 or 10 times in a few hours and they only win them a quarter of the time or a third of the time, whatever. And on top of that, they're constantly paying the stand-up off because they are the weaker player and they're just not jamming enough still, whatever the case may be, or the distribution doesn't cooperate with them. I think at some point there's a level off where they're just like, this isn't worth the trade-off for action. And I think of a guy like Bob Bright when I think of this stuff. Like, he hated the ante because, it was costly to him. And he played a lot of hands. It wasn't like he was tight pre,
right?
He was just like tight post. And he didn't want to do anything that like forced him into, he wanted everybody else to be into action while he could just sit there and snipe it. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean Guapa?
Yeah, exactly. Guapo in a meetup game.
God damn it, Guapo. catching strays over here.
He's not happy.
It's just
So like like antes, straddles, things like that. People that are losing money as a slow bleed. This doesn't benefit, and that's the majority of recreationals, I think, is the slow bleeders. So you don't really want to do things that force them out of their comfort zone and make them leave the game ultimately altogether. But yeah, it's a weird landscape because I do see more and more of poker, both cash and tournaments, moving in that direction. And truthfully, it's very good for the health. Mm-hmm. The lower the edge for the best players, the better it is for the ecosystem. But like when you look at high rollers, that isn't really a protected environment. It's mostly people with like really, really high skill edge making a small amount of money off of like a handful of people that are losing. Where when you look at like, normal standard cash games, it's kind of the inverse until you get to a certain stake level.
Do you think we'll see a regression in like high rollers, like in like these super high buy-ins, 100K plus?
Look at the Masters.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess maybe it's already happening.
Yeah, we have, and I think to Landon's point, it's kind of generated this opportunity where now there's a big influx of people who probably aren't otherwise winning players at the high roller buy-in level. But because the fields are getting larger and the buy-ins are decreasing, they're able to throw their hat in the ring, and they're doing just well enough in the short term that it's not noticeable. I think the problem with that, though, is it's unsustainable as a model, and collectively that entire group just eventually goes broke. What's good is that a lot of the best elite players aren't bothering with the 25Ks and below. So it is kind of creating a little bit more health at that stage. But I think like as that collective group starts to get a few hundred events under their belt and they see that their win rate is next to nothing, they'll move on to greener pastures. They almost kind of have to. And then you'll have a small collection of people on the fringe who just rise to the top and elevate their way through like a Coleman type.
All right. Seems interesting. On that note, we are going to wrap it up. We are out of here. We will be back on Monday. Berk, what you doing this weekend? You got some camels to play with or something?
Or camel toe to play with?
You got a camel toe to play with?
I'll tell you what. Over here in Uzbekistan, there are a lot of hookers on Tinder. I mean, it's just like... It's so...
Congratulations on the sex.
No, it's the opposite.
Nice flex,
it's so
bro.
discouraging.
I'm joking.
It's so discouraging, You start swiping and you're just like, match. And then they're like, what's your WhatsApp? And it's like, oh, you're one of those.
Is that the telltale sign if they ask for WhatsApp?
It's like...
I think Cash App is more of a sign, but...
Yeah, what's your Cash App is what they really want.
So you start messaging with them, and like the third response is, "What's your WA?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm out." Okay.
What's WA? WhatsApp. Okay.
Have you had a chance to actually?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had a chance to actually explore the city, like on a real note? Like, are you just hanging out at the hotel?
No, I haven't left my hotel room. I slept through the yacht party today. My sleep schedule is super fucked.
Yeah, why go to a yacht party when you have all the plain rice and plain mashed potatoes and fucking pull-up bars that you can dream of in your room? Why would you go?
They're trying to tempt you. You gotta stay hard.
Yacht party?
Oh, the old Uzbekistan yacht party.
See, Nikki, you get me. You understand.
Exactly. I'm here for your abs.
You understand how it works. Right,
your WhatsApp.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's your WhatsApp now?
What's the point of getting these abs if you're going to miss the yacht party? I didn't mean to miss the yacht party. I played till 6 a.m. and I only slept from like 6:30 till 10:30 for whatever reason. I just woke up like,
when you come back here to the United States of America, it's going to be Halloween season. You're going to just binge Halloween candy anyway. So you might as well just get in like your good food over there. Private chef. You're saying, hey, private chef? No, I think I'll take white steamed rice. And then you're going to come back and you're going to binge Reese's Pieces.
Have you not seen how delicious these eggs and rice look? I mean, this is top
my
of the
bad.
line.
No, you have a point.
You know,
It's peak.
it's like
Peak blandness.
What more could I ask for? I don't have to cook it myself. I mean,
Put
this
no
is-
color in my food.
He doesn't got to cook over there, but you know where he does have to cook? He's going to have to cook at the Academy. From November 12th to the 14th, it's going to be our regular Academy. We're going to get it popping. From the 15th. 15th to the 18th is our Elite Academy. Hit up Brian if you want to go to both. You might be able to. He might be able to give you a discount. Who knows? You got to talk to those people. You know, that one and that one. We'll figure it out. Berk, you got a discount for him?
Yeah, if you want to go to both back to back, we'll take care of you. Just get a hold of the manager, and he'll hook you up.
There
He'll
we
get
go.
the little code.
Matt, get out of the hotel, please. Go explore the city.
Yeah, go figure something out.
I think they have-
even if you have to pay for a date.
They have egg whites in the city.
They have what? Egg whites?
I think they have egg whites in the city. You can go explore the options of various bland food.
It's really just my sleep at the moment that's fucking me up. I had a show to go to last night at 6. I fell asleep at 4.
A show?
woke
What
up
kind
at
of show?
10.
Peep
I can't
show?
pronounce it. No, I think it's like the
Uzbeki-
gypsies version. It's like the gypsy version of Cirque du Soleil or something of that sort. I don't know. But
So
I
you're
slept
missing
through
all
that.
the fun things.
Yeah.
I slept through the yacht. I made it to the podcast. What more do you want from me?
That's true.
Love to
here
hear
for
it.
Oh yeah,
fun.
the most fun thing.
All right, well, on that note, we will see you on Monday. We are out of here. We'll be back. Later, squad.
Back.
We're back.